Okay, this morning we're going to talk about fire, what causes them, how to put them out, fire safety, and things you should know about fires in a healthcare facility. Okay? Taking care of a lot of burn patients over the years. Burns are probably some of the worst injuries somebody can suffer. We measure burns on the percentage of total body surface area. Just to give you an indication, one of your palms is 1% of your total body surface area. So say we want to do the chest. 1, 2, I'm probably bigger than that. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The chest is 18%. The front of your chest is 18% of your total body surface area. The back of your chest is another 18% of your total body surface area. So if you burn the front and back of your chest, that's 36% of your total body surface area. Now, we've got different types of burns. First degree burn is sort of like a sunburn. Second degree burn is where you have blisters, whether they have popped or not. Third degree burn is where it burns through the upper layer of the skin and goes down into the dermis and burns off the nerves. Those are the ones we're really concerned about. Anybody see somebody who has been burnt badly and see all the scars it leaves on them? Do you know what they have to undergo to get healed? Skin grafts, a lot of times, yeah. We do not have a local burn center. The closest one's in Lubbock at University Medical Center. I've had the opportunity over the years to go up there a couple of times, walk around with the supervising nurses, and see the patients they are taking care of. It takes months and months to recover from burns. First off, what does your skin protect you against? Infections, germs, bacteria. What does your skin keep out and keep in? How about fluid? Okay, you're sort of like a duck, right? You go swimming. Does that water necessarily seep into you? No, because your skin protects you. You have fluid inside of your body. Does it normally stay inside of your body? Let's get a big nasty burn and see what happens. You're going to dehydrate. One of the reasons we have to give an awful lot of liquids by IV fluid to burn patients. Okay? Also burns because it's an open wound, and you all have already said it. What do you think can get inside your body? Germs, which cause? Infections, right. We can have infections of almost any body system. Very frequently it will interfere with the urinary systems. Kidneys will shut down. Lots of other systems can shut down. We're constantly fighting infection, dehydration. Anything that goes on a burn or grows on a burn, we have to scrub it off with a scrub brush. Guess what? Even though we give the patients pain medication before we do that every single day, it hurts like you wouldn't believe. Okay? So, let's start talking about fires. Basically, to start a fire, you need 3 things. What do you think those 3 things might be? Oxygen would be number 1. What do you think the second thing would be? Heat. How about an ignition source? Something to start the fire. So we have an ignition source and oxygen. What's the third thing we need? Fuel. Something to burn, right? It's called the oxygen triangle. If you don't have one of those 3 things, you can't have a fire. Question. Any of y'all have a shed out back of your house? Do you have old paint cans, paint thinners, other chemicals that could be combustible materials? Do you have rags out there maybe soaked with some of that paint thinner or something, can that spontaneously combust and cause a fire? Chemical reactions, heat, lots of ways of happening. What if that was in your house in a closet?
Burn the whole house down.
You could. You sure could. So the three things: fire, oxygen, and a fuel source is what you need. Now, let's talk about fire extinguishers. We basically have about 5 kinds: A, B, C, D, and then A, B, C. A is water, B is carbon dioxide, C is bicarbonate of soda, D puts out magnesium combustible metals, and ABC you can use on any type of fires. Now, A is basically water. It can work on most common fires. However, would you put water on a grease fire in a pan in the kitchen? What do you think would happen? It'd flash, right? So that's when we'd use B, which would be a carbon dioxide. If it was an electrical fire, we would use the type C fire extinguisher, which puts out electrical fires. And if you happen to have an ABC fire extinguisher, that would work on almost all fires. Do you think you should have a fire extinguisher at home? Should you know how to use it? Do you know how to properly use it? We're going to talk about that. Now, when you use a fire extinguisher, we have a mnemonic. Do you know what a mnemonic is? It's a series of letters to make it easier for you to remember how to do something. Our mnemonic for using fire extinguisher is the word PASS. P-A-S-S. Each letter stands for something. P means to pull the pin on the fire extinguisher. Is there always a pin up around the handle? Yeah, so we pull the pin. A, we aim at the fire, but what part of the fire are we going to aim at? We're going to aim way up here? No, we're going to aim at the base of the fire. S means to squeeze the handle so the water or chemicals can come out. The second S means to sweep the nozzle from side to side towards the base of the fire, hopefully to put the fuel out. Okay? Does that make sense to y'all? Okay. I think we have another mnemonic here for y'all. And we do. This one is called RASS. R-A-S-S. When a fire emergency occurs, we use RASS to try to remember what we need to do. R stands for rescue. A stands for alarm. Know where the fire alarm is if you're working in a healthcare facility. Contain, close all windows and doors. E, evacuate. If you have a fire anywhere and you go up to a door, you should feel it. If it feels hot, should you open it? Why? Fire's happening in there, and what happens if you open the door to a room that's already on fire? It could do what? It could blow up. Why? You're letting in more oxygen, exactly. Okay? It's known as a backdraft. Any of y'all seen the movie Backdraft? You haven't seen the movie Backdraft? Oh my gosh, you guys are so sheltered. You need to watch that. It's on HBO right now. It deals with a family of firefighters, and one of the youngest brothers goes in and becomes a firefighter, and then he goes into the fire marshal's office and learns how to investigate fires. And they have somebody who's setting off a lot of fires in their town, and specifically they get into backdrafts. Okay? Yes?
You always want to do this hand first. Back of your hand.
Really? Haven't heard that one. Interesting thought. We may have to research that a little bit. Now, if we're in a healthcare facility, when a fire breaks out, we want to be prepared. We want to know what our responsibility is going to be. We want to know when and how to evacuate first our patients, then our other healthcare workers. Know where all the fire alarms are and how to activate them. Keep fire extinguishers in plain view. Know how to use them and be ready to use them. Does that make sense? This also shows a diagram. Should you also have an evacuation plan? Should you use an elevator in a fire? You should only use stairs, right? What could happen in the elevator? Could burn up the cables. Or the first thing that a firefighter is going to do when they come on scene, they're going to pull the electrical meter box out. Why? Try to keep the fire from spreading. Instead of making it just whatever type of fire, they don't want to have an electrical fire on top of everything else. Should we keep areas free from a lot of stuff that would burn, or should we clutter it up like a hoarder? Anybody ever seen the show Hoarders? Can you imagine what would happen inside one of their homes if a fire broke out? Could you put it out? It would be very, very difficult. They've got so much stuff in there that could burn. That could be very, very scary. If we're going to evacuate our ambulatory patients, or our patients who can walk first, then we're going to evacuate the people who are in wheelchairs, and then we're going to evacuate the patients that are restricted to the bed and they can't walk, or we can't put them in a wheelchair. Okay? If possible, never leave a patient alone in a fire emergency. Never use an elevator. We already discussed why. Never open windows. Once again, why? Same reason we won't open doors. We don't want to let what in? More oxygen. Oxygen will fuel a fire. And never open a door that feels hot. Already discussed that one. How should you operate a fire extinguisher? Does anybody remember that 4-letter mnemonic? PASS, P-A-S-S, what does it stand for? Pull the pin. Aim at what part of the fire? The base of the fire. S, squeeze the handle, and the final S, sweep from side to side at the base of the fire to put it out. Good job. Good job. Next, we're going to have a quiz in Schoology over what we just discussed, and that will be what we do for the day. Any questions? Good.